Isaiah chapter 21 describes the impending judgment of Babylon. The nation of Babylon has already appeared several times in the prophecies of Isaiah because Babylon was important. This was the nation that, under the banner of the pagan gods, conquered Judah, cut down the throne of David, destroyed the temple, and led the people away as captives. As the people of Judah saw their own judgment unfolding, they would have become very interested in their future and in the future of Babylon. Prophetic messages like this were given to demonstrate that the future belongs to God, and He will judge their oppressors. So this chapter is a promise of judgment, but also a message of justice and hope. In the symbolism of this chapter, Isaiah is described as a watchman observing and pronouncing the destruction as he sees it. For example, Isaiah 21, verses 8 and 9. Then he who saw cried out, Upon a watchtower I stand, O Lord, continually by day, and at my post I am stationed whole nights. And behold, here come riders, horsemen in pairs. And he answered, Fallen, fallen is Babylon, and all the carved images of her gods he has shattered to the ground. The watchman pronounces that Babylon is fallen. This is an example of the prophetic perfect in biblical prophecy. These words were written long before Babylon actually fell to the Medes and Persians, but this destiny was so certain that Isaiah pronounced it as if it had already happened. This prophecy promises the fall of the literal nation of Babylon, but it also foreshadows the fall of the whole system of secular nations and every demonic beast that competes against Christ and His kingdom. And that is exactly why this language is repeated in the book of Revelation. Revelation 14, verse 8, Another angel, a second, followed, saying, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, she who made all nations drink the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality. There's also Revelation 18, verses 1 and 2. After this I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was made bright with his glory. And he called out with a mighty voice, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling place for demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean and detestable beast. The Apostle John was predicting another climactic moment in the history of humanity when Babylon would fall. But when John wrote these words in the 1st century AD, the city of Babylon had been destroyed and abandoned for over 600 years, but the spirit of Babylon was not dead. The demonic forces that empowered her were just reincarnated in the Persian Empire, then in the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire, and again in the apostate church. So in a sense, these are just different heads on the same monster. And at the time that John wrote, the beast that Babylon represented still wasn't dead. So Isaiah's promise of the fall of Babylon was partially accomplished with the fall of that literal nation and the literal city. But the total fall of that pagan, demonic, oppressive, blasphemous system is ongoing, and I think still unfinished today. Interestingly, we get a picture into Isaiah's burden as the harbinger of these catastrophes. Isaiah 21, verses 4 and 5. Therefore my loins are filled with anguish, pangs have seized me, like the pangs of a woman in labor. I am bowed down so that I cannot hear, I am dismayed so that I cannot see. My heart staggers, horror has appalled me. The twilight I long for has been turned for me into trembling. The annihilation of Babylon was righteous and just, but it was nonetheless terrifying. The watchman says that he is filled with anguish, he is seized, dismayed, and he staggers in horror. This scene reminds me of Hebrews 10, verse 31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Thanks for listening.